Hello everyone. Today I will be talking about comparative aspects of transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Transport of oxygen. Oxygen is transported from alveoli to the tissue by the blood in two forms. First one is as simple physical solution. Second one is in combination with hemoglobin. Transport of oxygen as simple solution. Coming to the first aspect, oxygen dissolves in water. All of us know uh, oxygen dissolves in water of plasma and is transported in this physical form. The amount of oxygen transported in this way is very negligible. It is only 0.3 ml per 100 ml of plasma. It is about 3 percentage of total oxygen in blood. Uh, Coming to the next aspect, in combination with hemoglobin, oxygen combines with hemoglobin in blood and is transported as oxyhemoglobin. The transport of oxygen in this form is important because maximum amount, that is 97 percentage of oxygen, is transported by this method. Oxygen combines with hemoglobin only as a physical combination. It is only oxygenation and not oxidation. This type of combination of oxygen with hemoglobin has got some advantages. Oxygen can be readily released from hemoglobin when it is needed. Oxygen combines with the iron in heme part of hemoglobin. So, oxygen carrying capacity of blood. Coming to this point, the oxygen carrying capacity of blood is the most amount of oxygen transported by blood. 1 gram of hemoglobin carries 1.34 ml of oxygen. It is called oxygen carrying capacity of hemoglobin. The normal hemoglobin content in blood is 15 grams. So, the blood with 15 gram percentage of hemoglobin should carry 20.1 ml of oxygen, that is 20.1 ml of oxygen in 100 ml of blood. But the blood with 15 percentage of hemoglobin carries only 19 ml of oxygen. Carbon dioxide having more affinity. In the previous classes I have talked about this point. Carbon dioxide always having more affinity with hemoglobin. So few factors affect the affinity of hemoglobin with oxygen. In this session, uh, I am going to tell you about factors involving the affecting affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. First of all, temperature. Higher temperature cause a decrease in affinity. When the temperature uh, increase above than threshold level, the affinity of hemoglobin decreases its affinity in more active tissues. With a higher temperature, oxygen unloads more easily. So, above than threshold level, the affinity will be decreased when the temperature crosses threshold level. So, next point is pH. pH, hydrogen ion increases in more active tissues. This decreases the affinity of hemoglobin by the Bohr effect. Increase of the pH above than threshold level also decrease the affinity of hemoglobin with the oxygen. So these two components play a key role in the affinity, in the affinity with the carbon dioxide, and loading unloading of the carbon dioxide, how we can see in the later slides. Next component is partial pressure of the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide binds reversibly with hemoglobin to form carbaminohemoglobin, a molecule which has a lesser affinity for oxygen. This decrease in the affinity of hemoglobin for the oxygen in the presence of carbon dioxide is called as carbamino effect. As we have discussed in the previous classes, we have know the affinity of carbon dioxide is more than oxygen with the hemoglobin. So, in the presence of carbon dioxide, the oxygen affinity with oxygen is decreased. So, this effect called as carbamino effect. These first three factors work together to promote oxygen unloading in respiring tissue and oxygen loading in the lungs. Oxygen loading in the lungs. So fourth factor is 2,3 diphosphoglycerate. 2,3-DPG is produced from an intermediate compound in glycolysis and decreases the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. At low oxygen levels, an enzyme catalyzes the synthesis of 2,3-DPG. Hence, 2,3-DPG concentration increases. The affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen decreases. Uh, when the concentration of 2,3-DPG increases, the affinity of automatically the affinity of oxygen with hemoglobin decreases. Is helpful for the unloading. This is helpful for the unloading oxygen during the anemia and high altitudes. In the subsequent classes, we will be discussing about the uh, high altitude and its causes and its effect on against organism's respiration. At that time we will discuss, I will tell you more information about this session. At high oxygen levels, oxyhemoglobin inhibits the enzyme that synthesizes 2,3-DPG, and 2,3-DPG levels decreases at the subsequent reactions. So these are the factors influence the affinity with the hemoglobin affinity with the oxygen molecule. Uh, by these factors, the loading and unloading of the oxygen will be occurred. Oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. Oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve is a curve that demonstrates the relationship between partial pressure of the oxygen and the percentage saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen. It explains the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. What it tells? It explains the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. Oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve explain the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. Not only in the blood, hemoglobin is saturated with oxygen only up to 95%. The saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen depends upon the partial pressure of oxygen. When the partial pressure of oxygen is more, hemoglobin accepts oxygen, and when the partial pressure of oxygen is less, hemoglobin releases oxygen. This is very important point. When the partial pressure of oxygen is more, hemoglobin accepts oxygen. The affinity of oxygen will be more when when the partial pressure of the oxygen is more. The affinity of uh, oxygen with the hemoglobin is less when the hemoglobin when the oxygen partial pressure is less. So this is also helpful in the uptake and upload and unload of the oxygen. uh, Coming to the next, normal oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. It is S in shaped or sigmoid shaped. The lower part of the curve indicates the dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin. The upper part of the curve indicates the acceptance of oxygen by hemoglobin depending upon the partial pressures of the oxygen. So, what it tells, the lower portion of the curve indicates dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin, and upper portion, whereas upper portion indicates that the acceptance indicates the acceptance of oxygen by hemoglobin depending upon the partial pressure of the oxygen. When the partial pressure increases, the acceptance of the affinity with the hemoglobin is greater. The then the acceptance of the hemoglobin with the oxygen occurs. Partial 50% partial oxygen pressure is when the partial pressure of oxygen at which hemoglobin saturated with oxygen is 50%. When the partial pressure of oxygen is 25 to 27 mmHg, the hemoglobin is saturated to about 50 percentage. That is called as 50p 50. That is the blood contains 50 percentage of oxygen at 40 mmHg of partial pressure of oxygen. The saturation is 75 percentage. It becomes 95 percentage when the partial pressure of oxygen is 100 mmHg. This is about oxygen dissociation curve. Factors affecting oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. Few factors affect the dissociation curve oxygen hemoglobin affinity, and by then dissociation curve uh, may be disturbed. The oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve shifted to left or right by various factors. For example, shift to left indicates acceptance. Shift to left, that indicates acceptance of oxygen by hemoglobin. Shift to right indicates dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin. Always you have to remember this point. Shift to left indicates acceptance, association with hemoglobin. Shift to right, dissociation with oxygen. Shift to left indicates acceptance of oxygen. Shift to right indicates dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin. Coming to the shift to right, that is dissociation with oxygen, how it happens, we will be discussed. The oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve is shifted to right in the following conditions. Few conditions may leads to the shift of the dissociation curve to right. First one is decrease in partial pressure of oxygen. Decreasing decreasing in partial pressure of oxygen may leads to the shift of the curve to the right, that is dissociation with the oxygen. When the oxygen partial pressure decreases, automatically dissociation curve shift from the shift to the right side. Coming to the next point, increase in the partial pressure of carbon dioxide, that is Bohr effect. Shift right shift, that is when the carbon dioxide partial pressure increases, automatically dissociation curve bend shift curve shift may occur from right side. So increase in hydrogen ion concentration and decrease in pH also leads to the shift to right, and increase body temperature, excess of 2 3 dpg, which is byproduct of carbohydrate metabolism present in red blood corpuscles. These with these factors, the oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve shifted to the is curve is shifted to right side. Uh, in few cases, curve is shifted to left side. First of all, in fetal blood, because fetal hemoglobin has got more affinity for oxygen than the adult hemoglobin. Decrease in hydrogen ion concentration and increase in pH also uh, cause shift of the dissociation curve to left side. What is Bohr effect in right shift? We have discussed about Bohr effect. Bohr effect is an effect by which the presence of carbon dioxide decreases the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. When the carbon dioxide partial uh, pressure increased, percentage of carbon dioxide in the second point, increase in partial pressure of carbon dioxide may leads to the curve shift to the right shift. So in the tissues, due to the continuous metabolic activities, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is very high and it enters into the blood. The presence of carbon dioxide in blood decreases the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen, so that oxygen is released from the blood to the tissue. The oxygen dissociation curve is shifted to right side. This effect called as Bohr effect. Transport of carbon dioxide. Coming to the carbon dioxide transportation. Carbon dioxide is transported by the blood from tissue to alveoli. The partial pressure and content of carbon dioxide in atrial uh, blood and venous blood are given in this table as dissolved form 7 percentage. Totally 4 ways carbon dioxide is transported by 4 ways. First one is as dissolved form. In this form 7 percentage carbon dioxide will be transported, and second one is as carbonic acid. Negligible amount of carbon dioxide is transported in this step by this process. As bicarbonates, this is major uh, in this form majorly 63 percentage of carbon dioxide is transported by these form this by carbonate forms. And finally is carbamino compounds. Carbamino in this form 30 percentage of carbon dioxide is transported uh, to the alveoli. So transport of carbon dioxide as dissolved form. For coming to the first point, carbon dioxide diffuses into blood and dissolves in the fluid of plasma, forming a simple solution. Only about 3 ml of 3 ml for 100 ml of plasma of carbon dioxide is transported as dissolved state. As we discussed, 7 percentage of carbon dioxide is transported in this form in this process. Moving to the next, by carbonic acid. This is also negligible in this form. Also, negligible amount of carbon dioxide is transported. Part of the dissolved carbon dioxide in plasma combines with the water to form carbonic acid. This reaction is very slow, and the transport of carbon dioxide is in this form is very negligible, as we discussed earlier. By carbonic bicarbonate bicarbonate in this form 63 percentage of carbon dioxide is transported as bicarbonate. From plasma, the carbon dioxide enters the RBCs. In the RBCs, carbon dioxide combines with water To form carbonic acid, the reaction inside RBC is very rapid. The rapid formation of carbonic acid inside the RBCs is due to the presence of enzyme called carbonic anhydrase. In the presence of carbonic anhydrase, the carbon dioxide converted into this bicarbonate form. This enzyme accelerates the reaction. Carbonic anhydrase is present only inside the RBCs and not in the plasma. That is why the carbonic acid formation is at least 200 to 300 times more in the RBCs than in plasma. The carbonic acid is very unstable. It is very unstable. Almost all carbonic acid, that is 99% is not formed in the RBCs, and dissociates into bicarbonate and hydrogen ions. It splits in two forms. The concentration of bicarbonate ions in RBCs increased more and more due to the concentration gradient. Bicarbonate ion diffuses through the cell membrane into plasma by the process of diffusion. So, in at this point, we will see we can see chloride shift or hamburger phenomenon. Chloride shift or hamburger phenomenon is exchange of chloride ion for the carbonate ion across the erythrocyte membrane. For the one bicarbonate ion, one chloride will be replaced to the RBCs from the plasma. Chloride shift occurs when the carbon dioxide enters the blood from tissue. In plasma, plenty of sodium chloride is present. Plasma composition of the with the in the composition sodium of the plasma, sodium chloride is plenty. So it dissociates into sodium and chloride ions. When the negatively charged bicarbonate ions move out of the RBC into the plasma, the negatively charged chloride ions for the replacing of negativity, for the ionic balance, osmoregulation, the negatively charged chloride ions move into the RBC, whereas bicarbonate moves into the plasma from the RBC. Chloride shift will be seen from plasma to blood RBC cell. The negatively charged chloride ions move to the RBC in order to maintain the electrolyte equilibrium, that is ionic balance. To maintain the electrolyte equilibrium or ionic balance, the shift of the chloride ion uh, will be maybe occurred. A reverse chloride shift we also we can see. Reverse or chloride shift is the process by which chloride ions are moved back to plasma from RBCs occurs in lung. When the blood reaches the alveoli, sodium bicarbonate in the plasma dissociates to the sodium and bicarbonate ion. Bicarbonate ion moves to the RBC and makes chloride ion into the move out of from the RBC into the plasma. So where it combines with sodium and forms sodium chloride. This is phenomenon or about the chloride shift. This is chloride shifted. Chloride ions are shifted from the plasma to RBCs, and bicarbonate ion shifted to the plasma from the RBCs. Transport of carbon dioxide as carbamino compounds. This is fourth type of carbon dioxide transportation. About 30% of carbon dioxide is transported as carbamino compounds. Carbon dioxide is transported in blood in combination with hemoglobin and plasma proteins. Carbon dioxide combines with the hemoglobin to form carbamino hemoglobin or carbamyoglobin, and it combines with plasma proteins to form carbaminoproteins. The carbaminohemoglobin and carbaminoproteins are together called carbamino compounds. The carbon dioxide compounds combines with proteins of hemoglobin with a loose bond so that carbon dioxide is easily released into the alveoli where the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is low. The total process move around the pressures partial pressures of the gases. So thus a combination of carbon dioxide with the proteins and hemoglobin is a reversible one. The amount of carbon dioxide is transported in the combination with plasma proteins is very less compared to the amount of transported in the combination with hemoglobin. It is because the quantity of proteins in plasma is only half of the quantity of hemoglobin. So this is aspects of this is about transportation of the carbon dioxide in different forms. Next, carbon dioxide dissociation curve. Carbon dioxide is transported in blood as physical solution and in combination with water, plasma proteins and hemoglobin. The amount of carbon dioxide combining with blood depends upon the partial pressure of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide dissociation curve is the curve that demonstrates the relationship between the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and the quantity of carbon dioxide that combines with blood. This is about the carbon dioxide dissociation curve. Oxygenated blood, deoxygenated blood. Normal carbon dioxide dissociation curve, and the normal carbon dioxide dissociation curve shows that the carbon dioxide content in the blood is 48 ml percentage when the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide is 40 mmHg, and it can and it carbon dioxide is 48 mmHg. The carbon dioxide content becomes 70 ml percentage when the partial pressure is about 100%. Haldane effect. Haldane effect is the effect by which combination of oxygen with hemoglobin displaces carbon dioxide from hemoglobin. The excess of oxygen. This is entirely different with the Bohr effect, whereas the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide higher. In this case, the excess of oxygen content in blood causes shift of the carbon dioxide dissociation curve to the right side. Carbon dioxide dissociation curve shifted into the right when the oxygen partial pressure is higher. So, significance of Haldane effect uh, is essential. It is essential for release of carbon dioxide from blood into the alveoli of lung and uptake of oxygen by the blood. It is play a key role in the uptake of the oxygen and release of the carbon dioxide, and it is very important aspect. Thank you very much.